So we should probably start.
They're just
this.
like refresh.
Oh,
refresh
are you not?
refresh.
Were you not
I'm recording, but I didn't do an intro or anything. No one knows who we're talking to.
No.
You don't know how to run a fucking podcast, dude. All right.
It's the green room.
They want us to think that we're an insignificant speck of dust, but let me tell you, we are so much more than dust in the wind.
At least 4 billion useless eaters will be eliminated by the year 2050.
I'm still waiting for somebody to show me gas pressure without a container.
I personally don't believe anything they say, right down to the God they claim they worship.
None of the math adds up.
You could stack up all their math books, all their science books, and even put all their degrees stacked up on top of that, and you still wouldn't be high enough to see the curvature.
This is exactly why grounding is so important.
We see too far.
We're just regular people who know we're being lied to. We're tired of it.
The bottom line is, there's only one choice left, and that's to dismantle this whole thing from the top down.
So what do you want me to introduce you as? Phantom?
Yeah, you can just introduce me.
Can I just make one asshole suggestion, and I don't even know how to do it? Like, it's really hard to tag you, man. I went to try to tag you a couple times. I guess I'm just stupid.
Yes, well, because you can't remember the tagline. It's the same with me too.
Yeah, but his
If you
isn't.
don't know mine.
very
It's Fox
special.
Acid, but it's like it's not an O, it's a 0.
Oh yeah, that's
and then
right.
the I isn't an I, it's something else. I just gotta know what those characters are because I tried to tag you a couple times and then I was like, damn it, I can't get it right. I'm like, at
No,
work,
you never
like,
pop up.
Yeah, I think it's F0XAC lowercase LD.
Whoa,
Okay.
buddy. Whoa, buddy.
It's.
If
Yeah,
you ever
nobody
want to know how
tells
to
you.
be a phantom, he just showed you.
I will
Okay.
be honest though. This is the one thing I'll say is that whole thing, I saw his spaces, like, want to join my space, and saw his name, and for some reason I was like, shit, is that a big ass account? Who is this? I don't know who this is. How
Yeah.
did I miss this? And they're talking about flat Earth, and then I was like, oh, damn, this space is good. So it does look good. It was just hard
Legit.
for me to tag him because I'm half retarded, and was like, is that a 0 or I don't, what is it? Because some people
So
got
did you
the
write all that
fancy
down,
letters
Ted?
and stuff.
Did
Yeah.
you write all that down, Ted?
Actually, I did. I got it. I always have
wow.
a notepad next to me just in case.
Oh, wow. Well, look at you. Studious.
Yeah, I had to make that account because they banned a few of my accounts already. So,
For what?
I don't know. When I first came on the scene, when it came to Twitter, I was not even on any social network at all. And then I noticed Trump got elected. So I'm like, let me follow him on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I was like, there's something to this shit because he was saying the opposite of all the usual suspects.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me follow Trump because something's up here. And I retweeted every single Trump tweet and watched everything. And then boom, they banned me. I think it was because I was following him so close, Then I
Really?
made another one. Yeah, I swear to God. And that one had 3,000 followers. I don't even know how I got 3,000 followers, but that was like my biggest account so far on Twitter. And then they just kept banning me every time. But I kept making the same name. Like I just kept putting Fox Acid just with different letters.
Yeah,
I
you had
thought,
to change it up.
Yeah.
So this was pre-Elon then.
Oh yeah, it was probably like 2016, 2017
Oh,
when I
damn.
started with the Twitter.
I feel like they were a little more trigger happy back then.
Yeah, just a little. Just
Just a
Yeah,
little.
they didn't need I don't know. I can't speak on it because I wasn't on there but when were you on there, Rufus? When did you join?
Oh shit, man! I've been on and off Twitter probably 10 years, but I really really got involved in it in probably like around like 2017.
Okay.
It was for crypto. Crypto led me to a lot of shit.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Phantom, were you there with the purge and all that?
What do you mean, like in 2020 when they started
Yeah.
purging everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got my account too with that. I had to make a new account.
So was it like the same thing? Like they didn't really, obviously then they didn't give a reason. They just wiped across the board. They're like, yeah, anybody that's even associated with Trump or whatever, you're gone, basically, right? Anything associated with Republicans or right wing or whatever.
Yeah, I had a hashtag QAnon a few times.
Oh, yeah, you're done at that point.
Yeah, I retweeted Trump like every tweet and liked every fucking tweet. So I was like a target every single time they did a sweep. I got caught up in the sweep every single time. So this newest account, I tried not. Well, it wasn't even this one. It was another one. It was Real Fox Sassy, and they had just recently fucking suspended that one for no reason too.
Jeez.
What the
It's because we
crap?
talk about flat Earth. It's because we talk about all this conspiracy stuff. They don't want us talking about that stuff.
No,
you know?
they definitely don't.
Well, we can tell that you know what you're doing, man, and it was obvious. Like this guy seems kind of new, but this guy seems like he
Yeah,
has been
that's
doing it for a
why.
little bit longer than
Because
this.
he's not new.
Makes sense.
It all
Under the
makes
radar.
sense. Yep.
So what? So is it strictly flat Earth that you talk about in the spaces, or you touch on other things, or do you jump in other spaces? What?
I talk about everything. Like me, I'm into every conspiracy theory. And
Good.
the biggest conspiracy theory for me right now is the New World Order.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most major conspiracy that you could talk about right now.
Right.
I think it's gonna happen. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Trump this, Trump that." Like if Trump is gonna be like the guy from Idiocracy and fix everything in a week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm telling people like that's just. I know you love Trump. I love him too, but even if he was president today and fixed everything in a week, after he's gone, the New World Order is still going to be born. It's not going
Right.
to stop the New World Order from coming about.
Yeah, it's not just going to be smooth sailing. Oh, he's elected now. It's nice and smooth. Everything. He still has a battle, no matter how you
Did
look
you-
at it.
So you don't think that it's already won and we're just watching a movie?
As much as I would love to believe that, even if I think Q is real or not, or, if Trump is part of the deep state or not, I know that it is like we're kind of watching a movie, but even after Trump does fix everything, he's old. Eventually he's got to step down and someone else got to take over. And I feel like the person that's going to replace Trump is going to be the one that's going to be like the one everyone's going to love. Everyone's going to have faith in him, and he's going to be the one that's going to really fucking betray us. Fuck America up real bad. Like he's like playing double agent, you could say.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think that's Trump himself then?
Nah, I don't think Trump is the Antichrist. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about that lately.
Yeah.
A lot of intelligent people too, not even like idiots. I mean like intelligent. And they're like, Trump is the Antichrist. Oh my God. And I had two examples of that the other day in my space. So it was great because I had them both there together. So I was like, oh, you think that the guy's the Antichrist? He thinks the guy's the Antichrist. I'm like, all right, first, I went to the first person, and then I'm like, so what do you know about the Antichrist from the Bible? What does it say? He didn't know how to respond. He didn't know.
Right.
He didn't know. Then I asked the second guy, and the second guy's already like, oh, he's the Antichrist. I'm like, hold on. What do you know about the Antichrist in the Bible? Can you refer me to the Bible about what it says? What's paralleling between the Antichrist and Trump? And he didn't know what to say. So that's when I got a little biblical, and I told him, in the Bible it says that he's going to have a wound. He's going to heal his wound. I'm like, does Trump have that wound? No. So he's not the Antichrist. You know what I'm saying? Because
They keep saying that. They keep saying he's going to get this head wound and all that. All the people are running around, pulling out the Illuminati cards and trying to predict the next move and this and that, and putting him in with the whole show and everything. Which, in a sense, in my opinion, yes, he is a part of the show. Is there a show? Abso-friggin-lutely, dude. I'm sorry. Anybody that's listening that disagrees, that's fine. You're more than welcome to, but I am fully awake, dude. There is no cake on my pineal. All right. I see exactly what the hell is going on. Okay. I am awake, and I have been for quite some time, and I've seen some things and I've done some things. in this movement. So no one can convince me otherwise. Now, the ultimate, like you said, the ultimate goal, nobody knows that. And anybody that's running around, they're grifters. That's plain and simple. I mean, hell, Monday the 23rd, or what is that? The 23rd is on Monday? I don't know. I know it depends.
I don't even know what today is, man. Come on.
But Jesus is supposed to come back on that day.
Oh.
And
he didn't even write and let me know. Man.
No. You hear about that, Phantom? That one going around?
What, did they said that Jesus is coming back on the 23rd?
Yeah.
I haven't even heard that yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's who's the guy? You might know him. Who's the guy that's supposedly one of SEAL Team 6? He's still alive. He's got the beard and he's throwing out these dates and stuff. Supposedly it was September 23rd, but because it's Julian calendar, that it's supposed to be actually October 23rd. That the poop goes down, if you will, or in his words, Jesus comes home. You know anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about it yet, but who's the guy you're talking about with the beard?
I've posted some stuff about it. I don't know his name, but they say it's one of the guys from SEAL Team 6 that didn't die.
Somebody will call us stupid in the comments and say the name. Don't worry,
that's fine.
Later.
That's
fine.
Totally fine.
I'm okay with that. My
too.
ignorance on this subject is validated. So
Very
Wait,
good
but
point.
is that the guy? Is that the guy with the beard? It's like salt and pepper kind of, and
yeah,
does it kind of look like JFK Jr. a little bit?
a little bit. They thought it was him, and then they didn't. I mean, God, they thought 107 was JFK Jr. They thought all these different people, or everybody's JFK Jr. I guess.
Well, obviously.
So, he does I guess he does these little. I don't know if it's a podcast or what. He puts out these little videos. He's got the little Pirates poster on his wall and stuff like that.
I did see some dude with the salt and pepper beard talking. He looked a little like JFK Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, at this point, like you just said, everyone's JFK Jr. now. So it's
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I'm like, I don't know. So I just didn't really put much thought to it. But
Right, the latest. Go ahead,
Not
Ted.
only that, you can't really believe anything you see in a video anyway. So
That's true.
that person might not even really look like they look. Who knows?
I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen some of the stuff we put out, but you can't believe everything we put out either. So,
No.
well, one thing I just noticed though that I wanted to bring up to all of you guys, and I was hoping definitely here so I could ask him too. I just noticed something about radar. Yeah, radar only works in a straight line.
Yep.
Yes.
Did you guys see that?
I didn't see it, but I already
Zetetic
know
put
that.
out a good post
Zetetic
about
did.
it today.
I missed it.
Yep.
I was
It's
doing
really
a bunch of
good.
crap. I gotta see it.
really?
But yeah,
And
radar,
he's like, man, I worked in the military for years, and this is my experience and my background and my wheelhouse. So if there's anyone who knows anything about this, it would be me. In his post, it was badass.
Nice.
I missed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I saw that post, and I was like, wow, this could actually put the globe Earth to bed, because now you're talking about radar. And
What doesn't put the globe Earth to bed? Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I think it puts it to bed because now you got proof on paper, because these things can print out a report for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what
bro,
I'm
there's and what is it, like radio waves need to travel in a straight line too. I saw some report about like the longest distance radio wave ever
from
traveled, and it was like 800 miles.
Talking about the one from back in the day. I can't remember his name. The one who they told him it would never work because radio waves travel in a straight line and they wouldn't go around the curve of the Earth. This is when they created the stratosphere because it worked. And then they're like, oh, if it worked, it had to be bouncing off something. It was the stratosphere.
Wow.
That's how it happened. So yeah, I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, everyone's
Always something.
You're so stupid. It's never gonna work because it was from like France to New York, something like that. It was across from Europe to America, and it made it. And that can't happen with the curve because they only go in straight lines. It'd be out in space. So
Right.
that's where your stratosphere comes from, guys.
Oh, cool.
Well, they bounce it off a satellite, and then the satellite shoots. Yeah,
Space
shoots the
lasers.
waves back to the next tower.
Okay, cool. That sounds great.
Oh, that's good.
I think that does put the globe argument to bed though, because think about it. Right now we use radar on all our ships, and it's true they detect shit coming from far away.
Yeah.
If it was curved, how the fuck are they doing that?
Yeah, just
Like that's something that they would have to explain.
yeah, it's the same with sonar and submarines too. The ocean, the ground under the ocean would have to be curved too if you're on a ball. How is sonar
Yes.
going around a bend, hitting something, bouncing back, and coming back around the bend again for them to know where it is? It's impossible.
If I'm not mistaken, it's hundreds of miles.
Yeah, it's far. I know it's at least 100 or more. I don't know
Wow.
how much, but I know for sure it's over 100 because I remember hearing something 100 and was like, "What?" So
Yeah, nothing goes over the curve. I mean, just use your common sense, and also because there just is no curve.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, we could talk about how the ocean floor has to curve. The water does too.
that's true.
Can't seem to find that, But I'll tell you what, these boys on Twitter, they jump through some hoops, man. They have some gymnastics skills. A Phantom. You ever see the red lines that they draw for the curve?
It's not that they got skills; it's their reality. This
Yeah.
this is everything they know. I was talking to my girl about this the other day because I was trying to make her understand. You go to school for like 12 years. That's not even including kindergarten or pre-K. So let's say you do pre-K, kindergarten, 1 through 12. That's 14 years. Then you go to college. That's 18 years. Then you're like, oh, I want to keep going to college. That's probably another 8 fucking years. You're in college for like 25, 26 years. That's your reality. That's all you know. You're going to fight for it to the death. That Earth is round.
That's a good point. And it's something we've talked about many a times. Like we're not just crushing their dreams. It's their entire reality. Like you said, some people have dedicated their entire life to this, and spent money on college, big money, still owe money on it, and the idea that they've been lied to on that scale is just unfathomable. They're not even gonna accept it. That's why I try to tell some of these people. Like I saw Ted earlier. You were talking to Salty, right? You were trying to explain it to him how don't give up on this. Just talk to him like people are watching. You know what I mean? People are gonna
Don't talk to. Talk to the person, but you're not gonna get through to them. The people that are in there
Right.
fighting you, you're never gonna get through to.
Mm-mm.
It's the ones who are watching, going, "Oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of
Yeah,
that."
and these are the dudes like like Phantom's talking about.
Yeah.
And they've spent just their entire life on it, an addiction to space and the fantasy that we're going to leave this planet, and all that hard tea.
Why would you
And
want to?
I don't even think you can. I don't even think it's because they can't accept the fact that they've been lied to. I think it's because they can't accept the fact that they allowed themselves to get fooled.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's a
just
good point.
how bad of a feeling and how bad that they would look. That they were the ones that were studying this all along, and they were the ones who should have put out the signal, and they can't let go of it because they weren't the first ones to figure it out.
So, speaking of which, Phantom, I want to know what got you into Flat Earth, but what was the first thing that cracked your mind open? The first conspiracy you came along that made you think that things aren't what you've been told your whole life?
Yeah, it was definitely 9/11.
Yeah.
Up until 9/11, I believed in space, aliens. I was a sheep up until 9/11. Then 9/11 happened, and I do construction all my life. I'm a carpenter. So off the bat, seeing the plane that's aluminum go through the building that's steel, knowing that the building has 40-something inner columns made of steel that if anything was to penetrate the outside and go through it, it would shred it like a shredder because the way they were situated. I knew it was impossible to see that day that the plane came out the other side intact nose cone plastic, but it was still intact, going through steel, going through the inner columns, coming out the other side, and the nose cone came out intact on TV. I was like, that's impossible. That's just fucking impossible. And right there, I began to research everything.
It's awesome.
How old were you when that happened?
Yeah.
I
Or
think
when
I was
it
like
all went
19.
down?
I think I was like 18, 19.
Yeah, okay. So you're about the same age as all of us.
Yep.
I lived in New York City. My mother was a city bus driver. She was supposed to be dropping off people right around the World Trade Center. So I was a little traumatized. Like, oh my God, where's my mom?
Oh, jeez.
You
Oh,
know?
I can only imagine, dude. I remember even when the Oklahoma City bombing went down, I was like, felt traumatized because of that, because everyone was freaking out, and we weren't even anywhere around Oklahoma City.
When I started doing a little bit of a deep dive into 9/11, I noticed that it was just so inconsistent that
Right.
it had to be a criminal conspiracy, that it wasn't what they were saying. And it just led me down the rabbit hole. And it led me down every single rabbit hole up until about, I would say, 2015. In 2015, I came to a realization that every time I sat down and did research, it always brought me back to two things: God and the devil, or good versus evil, which I thought was weird. I was like, I didn't even believe in God. So I was like, it's kind of fucking strange. And it's like, I started to see all the satanic symbolism the politicians and celebrities were using, like hand signs and symbols and shit, and wearing these pins and lapel pins and brooches and rings. I'm like, what is all this symbolism that I'm seeing? Because it's like I just started to become sentient or something.
Yeah.
Like I actually really began to see and think for myself.
Right.
And when I noticed the symbolism, I researched it immediately. Brought me to WikiLeaks. It brought me to Hillary Clinton. I'm like, what? I'm not even political. What is all this shit? And then that's when I realized that I was like, oh shit, if these people are like satanic, just for them to even be satanic, God has to exist. Because in order for the devil to exist, God got to exist. And
Yep.
it was like a fucking light bulb, like bing. Right there, I began to believe in God right there. And it changed my life for real. It really has.
Yeah, that's what's weird. Like me, it was all at once too. I literally within a minute went from not believing to I have to believe now, I have no choice. So it wasn't like a process for, I mean, I guess it was a process, but there was definitely a defining moment where it went from one to the other immediately.
Yeah.
Mine was from Flat Earth. I always just kind of came with the attitude that I didn't really know.
Yeah, that was mine too. I didn't know either, but then
I wasn't like a hardcore atheist, but then once it like clicked in your head like that, with the that this had to have been created, then that changes the game. But so hold up a second. So Phantom, you were saying your kind of awakening was just because you could see like all the satanic symbolism.
Yeah, like doing all that research, I started noticing a lot of celebrities and politicians doing the same kind of hand gestures. So being from New York City, there's a lot of gangs there. Even me when I was young, I belonged to a little gang, We had our little gang signs and everything and stuff like that. So I'm able to recognize it because I see it in the street. So when I see these people throwing it up on these magazines, on the internet, on TV, throwing up the little 666 hand sign,
wow,
covering up their eye, throwing up the devil horn hand sign. When you go to Little Italy in New York City, you see the old Italian people throwing up the devil horn. So you recognize these signs when you keep seeing them all doing it. Now, it's not like a one-off, though, that one person is doing it. It's all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
All this whole elite class of people doing it. And even wearing upside-down crosses, everything. And when I noticed that, I knew there was more to it. Like, I was like, this shit is strange. This isn't like a coincidence where they're just all doing these hand signs. I'm like, this is organized. And it is. They're a cult. They're like really a secret religion that nobody knows about.
Dude, that is a crazy sixth sense you have.
That's awesome because
picking up like that.
you know, there's so many things that we saw that we didn't actually know what we were seeing, right? At least for me, because I could vouch for that. I was a sheep, to an extent, for many many years, or just asleep. I'd rather say, But this awakening thing that's happening, it is organic. It's just from listening to you and the time frame that it was and all that. Like, it's much more than just something that was designed. There was definitely something coming, right? Like this consciousness awakening thing going on. Do you agree? Like, because it was right around the same time. It was like 2016 for Ted and I to really get kind of pulled in to this whole process.
I think that it has something to do with, like, you ever heard about the experiment about the 100th monkey?
Yep. Yeah.
I think it has something to do with that. I think that we crossed some kind of line where enough people were skeptical and questioning and researching, and we all, as a collective, as humanity, had gained this knowledge that we were looking for, to a point where it unlocked something where we all felt it, we all knew it. It was something going on. It was, like you're saying, an awakening, you could say.
Mhm. Yeah, that's okay. So that that gave me confirmation, because there was always just like that question in my head. You know what I mean? Like, was it all by design? Did they have to come to a point to say, "Hey, there's no stopping them figuring this out now that we gave them internet, we gave them all these resources." You know what I mean? And they still have somewhat of their free will, quote unquote, to be able to dive deep enough and find this stuff on our own. We're going to get found out no matter what, and we don't have the numbers. Maybe we should go ahead and just start leaking this stuff out, or just stop hiding it and show it out in the open, right?
Yeah,
That
we
was
need to control this somehow.
right.
It's got
Exactly.
to be a controlled
Get ahead of it.
demolition here.
Yeah, good point. Get ahead of it in a way, which that was what I felt. I'm like, okay, that's what it is, right? Like, this was all by design. But hearing your story, and it's like, that's organic. That's something that happened on its own, and you're not the first person I've heard this from.
Also, though, to have the 100th monkey effect, you need the first 99 monkeys. So something had to show them. So it could be a combination of the two.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Something had to start the people waking up.
Spark the fire.
Exactly.
And it's like it
It's
resonates through the ether.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to, like, describe, because I almost feel like even you guys are saying that about the same time that I figured it out, or I felt it. That's when you figured it out. You know what I'm saying? It almost feels like, think about it, like 15 years after 9/11 is pretty much how long it took me to even fucking realize what was really happening,
Yeah.
to even see that there was some kind of Illuminati.
Right.
So I think it took you guys the same period of time, and it took me the same period of time, because it happened, like I'm telling you. I think we're more connected than we think. Humanity is just way more connected than we're put on to believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's happened before. People have said it, that when someone dies, they feel it in their soul, and they, like, call the person or some shit like that, and or like, even with twins, they say it with twins, that they're like entangled somehow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mentally, yeah, and physically.
Yeah, they have a crazy connection. It's not. I don't want to liken it, because I don't. When people hear magic, they think dark. It's magic, and I'm not saying like some magic. I'm not talking about that kind of magic. I'm talking about human abilities. But just for reference, like, say you knew stuff like that, or you had the ability, but no one ever told you. And not only did they never tell you, but they spent every moment of every day trying to stop you from figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
what
they
we
put
deal with.
fluoride. They put all kinds of fluoride in our water. They poison us 100 different ways. And even if we did have those kinds of capabilities where we could communicate telepathically and all that kind of shit, it's being blocked.
Yeah.
They're blocking it with all these poisons. They're sterilizing people, giving people cancer. They're giving people vaccines. They give them autism and all kinds of problems. myocarditis now with this new shit. It's like they literally are killing us off. They really are. I believe that.
Oh, I
Why not-
firmly believe it.
Why not wipe us out? That's what I don't understand. Like, why not just start wiping us out in numbers? Like, they've done it before in history, but as of recently, there haven't, at least not to my knowledge, been a lot of, extermination operations to a level, you know what I mean?
I mean,
That-
maybe they need to like harvest some sort of energy from our collective or something. Who
So keep
knows?
us just
Who knows?
breathing.
There's got to be a reason.
But
They just bring us down to that level where everyone's fluorided out and basically.
Then again, I
like
guess somebody
walking
has to do the
zombies.
work, right? So someone's got to do the slave labor.
Also, why?
Do you think it'll be biblical though? Do you think like the reason maybe that you just said why not kill us off? Maybe the reason we're not getting killed off, like a genocide, like a Holocaust, that like wipe us out. The way you said wipe us out. Maybe that's not happening because it's biblical. And
It
that's
could
gonna
be,
something
man.
that the Antichrist is going to personally do. Like, if you don't bow down, you saw how people were bowing down during the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff.
Jeez.
Like, literally taking a knee. Like, you'll never catch me on my fucking knees. Excuse my
Hell
language,
no.
but you'll never catch me on my damn knees. And when I saw that, I already knew right there. Like, this ain't even about race. This is about control.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now you're making people take a knee. Like, can you imagine that? You're submitting to someone. That's what this is about. It's about submission. And when the Antichrist does come, it could be years from now. It could be tomorrow. I don't know. Nobody knows the time and the day. But when he does come, and he does come to kill people that won't worship him and take the knee, I'm not taking the knee.
Nah.
They're going to have to cut my head off.
Yep.
Me too, man.
Ditto. I mean, yeah, I think you're spot on there, man. That's what I believe. I believe that the movie just isn't over yet. So
Also,
they don't get to make that choice.
If you're truly evil, think about it from an evil bastard perspective. Is it more fun to go in and wipe people out, or is it more fun to convince them to wipe each other out?
It's a good point too.
They just like sitting back, starting wars. They don't need to wipe people out all at once. They just start wars. How many people die in wars all the time?
Yeah.
That they start. I mean, except for while Trump was in office, because there weren't any wars then. But that's because he's such a shitty president.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, did you notice? One thing I noticed too. I feel like there were very little chemtrails during that time, or at least a lot less than there are now.
Oh, I see him every single day.
Every day now.
You guys got them up there, Phantom, the chemtrails and stuff.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I don't even understand why that's allowed. I mean, all the sheriffs in the whole country, they should have already gotten together about that a long time ago and said, what is it? Let's make it stop. Because the sheriffs really are the ones that have all the power in the country.
Yeah, because they're
when
elected.
It comes to the local, when it comes to the local level, if the sheriffs were to all get together and say, all right, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to make them stop this chemtrail shit, or they get locked. We'll go lock them up. That's it. That shit will stop in a day.
Yeah.
They're still on taxpayer dollar though, aren't they?
Who?
The sheriffs?
Yeah, I think they get elected and they get paid by the taxpayer. I'm pretty sure.
Right. So I mean, until you cut the purse, you know what I mean? Like if they're getting paid to keep their mouth shut, the people that are above, you know what I mean? I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with it. Like,
I'm sure they're all rigged in.
Right. Not. I'm not talking about low level sheriffs.
But dude, you never know. I think it's on a bigger scale, man, because I knew about chemtrails way before Trump was in office. Like, I've known about this stuff for a long time, and so I've kept my eye on the sky for a good amount of time. And I just remember during those Trump years saying to myself, like, man, seems like he's made a difference on that front too. I was a big Trump guy for a while.
Right. I mean, it was something that wasn't in the script. You know what I mean? Like, or at least felt that way. Like, wow, we actually elected somebody that we wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
Yes, you just felt like you had a voice.
right, exactly. And maybe, maybe that was just them going, throw them a bone, make them think.
Did anyone else have that feeling that, like, right when it was announced that Biden was elected, it was just like, oh man, it just felt
dude.
so horrible to have that voice
It
gone.
sucked. I just remember standing out front of my dad's house, like with him, because that was like the only thing we really had in common was talking about politics. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it was just like, yeah, you're not like me. I'm not like you at all. But when it came to that, we saw a lot eye to eye. So that was kind of our moments. I just remember going up to the house. He's already standing outside and he's got his head down leaning on his truck. I just walk over. I'm like, what in the world just happened? This doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. And it felt so bad because it wasn't like we lost to Biden. It was we lost to all these people that were supporting Biden.
I know, all 10 of them.
For real. For real.
Where were you at,
Crazy
Phantom, when
people.
you heard the news?
I was in Staten Island, New York, when I heard that Trump was going to be the president.
Yeah. What about when? Were you aware that did you know it was going to get stolen? Did you know all that ahead of time? Were you keen on that?
When, the 2016 or the 2020?
2020.
Oh, for 2020, I was in where was I? I was in Colorado, I think. Yeah, I was in Colorado, and I knew it was gonna get stolen because I felt like Trump wasn't part of the deep state, and they were gonna do whatever they had to do to take it away from him, and they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
Do you think that's real? Do you think that it was actually stolen, or do you think that they're showing you what could have happened if he didn't catch him ahead of time?
There's a lot of different theories I have about the election. I mean, it could have been like a movie, like you said, where they made it look this way.
Mm-hmm.
They made it look like Trump lost, and they're setting up a sting operation, or they're playing out some kind of fucking movie. Or it could have been that they really rigged it, and Trump lost or whatever. It's so many different ways, but
So many.
In my opinion, what it all really depends on, for real, is if the Q situation is real. If the Q situation is real, then that whole situation with the military seizing power and putting Trump in control to flush out, the deep state, that could be a possibility. That could be a real possibility. But I don't know. It's hard to tell this time. Everything, it's like the CIA director had said that the CIA's job, when they asked him what's the CIA's job, he said their job won't be done until everything that the American people know is a lie. So that's what it feels like.
Yep.
Who said this?
The director of the CIA.
Like in 1981, the CIA director had said something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
but he
it's almost exact, actually. I don't remember the exact words, but it's very, very close for sure.
Interesting. I have to see this. I don't know. Maybe I have seen it, and I've seen so many. but maybe I have seen it. I'm just not remembering. But that's a really interesting. Is a video.
I posted it. I posted his quote recently on my timeline.
Did you?
Yeah, it was the CIA. I can't remember his freaking name, but it was in 1981. He said that when they asked him, what's the CIA's job? He said the CIA's job won't be complete, or won't be. He said the CIA's something program, disinformation program, won't be complete until everyone knows in America is a lie. It's false.
Wow.
That's what we're up against.
So they're done, right? So because that's pretty much where we're at.
It's like game theory. For me, it's a lot of games and theory situation, I think. You ever heard of the Cicada 3301?
No.
What?
Yeah, please enlighten us. Yeah.
So the Cicada 3301 was some kind of other thing that came out online anonymously, where it was a puzzle, and all these different really smart computer people noticed it. They tried to figure out the puzzle, led them to another clue, until it went from online to the real world, where they had them looking for shit in real life. And somebody won it.
This was on this was on the 4chan, right? Like they were doing this. Is this the thing with what's the actor's name? We were talking about this, Ted. Remember? I was telling you guys about this.
Cicada. It's called Cicada 3301.
Yeah, and wasn't it with military codes and stuff like that, and they had to try to figure out where they were gonna shoot a missile in the Middle East or something like that. Like it was kind of like a war games kind of thing. Was that part of it?
It was something like that, and I think that Cicada situation was something that preluded, or however you say the word, before the Q situation.
Yes, just before it, correct.
Preceded,
yes.
before the Q situation. And I think that those people that they were computer people that they were trying to reach out to, people that were good on the computer. It wasn't, if you wasn't online, like in 4chan or whatever, and you wasn't like a little doxer hacker type of dude, you didn't even know about it.
Right.
You didn't even know about it. So they were going for those people that are like coders, and the winners of that thing, the people that got far into it, I think those were the people who were actually recruited for the Q situation.
Nice. It makes
That's what
sense.
I think.
It actually makes a lot of sense. I was telling these guys about that. There was there's like a 50 proofs video on BitChute, and they kind of allude to that, like that pre-Q situation where it was going down. And who's the dude from Transformers? What's his name? With the weird name there?
Shia LaBeouf?
Yes. Shia LaBeouf, yes. Yeah, he was a part of it or something, or they used him in a way like to play this like capture the flag game and stuff.
I remember now. I remember you.
Right. Yeah. So that's what that was all about. And they were doing this and people were getting into this. And like you said, it was almost like a contest in a way. And yeah, people won. I remember seeing this, but I didn't know that's what it was called though. But that's interesting.
How long has Q been like in place allegedly? I mean, have they been doing this forever?
I think I could look it up here, but I think the first time Q posted was in 2017. And you know, what's really weird is this. It's like as soon as I found God, Trump won the election, and it all happened almost like step by step, like point by point. Like every single thing that happened, it happened like one after another. Like I found God, Trump got elected, then everything, boom, 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 just started happening. And it almost felt like God was in play for real. I'm not even gonna, it sounds crazy, but after that, I think it was like 2020, like right as the same day they killed George Floyd, actually. I was leaving New York and I started traveling all across the United States. I went to Florida. I went everywhere after that, everywhere. And I feel like every time I even met someone, it was like a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
Like I needed to meet this person. Maybe they need to tell me something. I needed to tell them something. I really felt like there was some kind of divine intervention going on in my life at that very time. And I still do. I really do. I swear. Now, even today.
Doesn't sound crazy at all. We have this conversation amongst ourselves all the time. Like you asked.
Yeah, how do you think we found each other?
Yeah, you asked how we met. Like we don't know. It just literally just happened. It just happened, man.
Ask any one of us 2 years ago, Ted, would you said you'd be on Twitter or even doing a podcast?
No,
or anything like that?
I used to make fun of people on Twitter. Actually,
yeah.
What do you have, no life? What the hell?
Same, dude.
Who wants to sit there and try to make?
know,
Well, at the time, when it was like, what was it? Originally, it was like 110 characters or something like that. It was something small. It was like,
and
how do you even do that?
Like, yeah, back then it was all about like trying to talk to some celebrity.
Right,
like, you know, like trying to get them to notice you or something.
Celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott Baio retweeted me.
And I don't.
Scott Baio. Look, Martin Lawrence just took a shit. Wow.
I'm eating a sandwich. That's how it was.
Was there anything that you guys saw that Trump had did that made you think Q was real?
Like what, 200 of them? I think. What's in that video?
I mean, you could decipher anything. Oh, but when I was asking earlier, it wasn't like the inception of like Q publicly there, but like how long have they been? You know, does anyone know about like the past before that and how long they've allegedly been acting as some sort of like shadow government or trying to get in?
As far as I know, the Q group is Q clearance, right? It's like a level of clearance that only certain amount of people have. So, and I know there's been like I think there was a video I saw one time of a CNN broadcast. They mentioned the Q group, that they are basically the police of the government, of like the upper echelon of government, right? So they're the ones that police the FBI and the CIA and everything like that. Like,
Oh, so they've been like kind of always around in the
right,
background to make sure that these guys don't like get out of hand or whatever.
right. So again, you know, I mean, I believe that the CNN broadcast that little thing on whatever it was, the special was in the 90s that it came out or something like that, or maybe it was early 2000s. I'm not sure. Phantom, you know about that?
Say that one more time. Sorry, my girl.
So they were talking about like on CNN or something like that. I remember there was a short little, I don't know if it was like just a segment of like talking about the Q group or the Q clearance or something like that, that they're the ones that they police the CIA and the FBI and all that. And it was fairly old, old CNN segment. But either way, I mean, that's what I was told, or that's what I was under the impression of.
Well, I mean, it's like JFK Jr. and like Princess Diana and whoever else is involved, so it had to have been a plan that was in place for a long time. Who knows? You know, I don't know.
Where are you at with all? Where you? Okay, that's what I want to know. Where are you at with all that, Phantom? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I remember them talking about a Q group in the 90s. Because I wasn't even, at that time, I wasn't even sentient. I'm telling you. I wasn't like, I really wasn't until like 9/11. That's when my eyes like opened. And I really didn't become sentient until like 2015, 2016.
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't know. Because during the whole like 2019, 2020 thing, like when they dumped us all over to Telegram from, you know, what was the one with the P? Parler. When we went to Parler to Telegram, all the people that were kind of like sucked into that whole realm. There was a video flying around talking about it. That's why I didn't know if you had actually seen that or not. But what do you think about Q actually being these dead celebrities, and you know, Michael Jackson's part of Q, and you know, Princess Diana and all that?
I don't know. I mean, there has been times like I was watching the situation extremely closely, and I'm like I said, I'm not political at all. But once I noticed, when I saw Trump get up there on his inauguration and he said he's gonna give the power back to the American people and all this stuff, I was like, yo, he's saying everything the presidents haven't said.
Yep.
So I'm gonna watch him close. Then I started watching his rallies, and at his rallies, at his rally, I seen what I thought was JFK Jr. and the wife behind Trump when Trump was talking. There's like 50,000 people at this rally.
Mm-hmm.
There's like maybe 100 people behind Trump in a little box and seats, and I'm pretty sure these people were hand selected to sit there by the Secret Service. So I'm like, what the fuck is the chance that you got someone that looks like JFK Jr. and his girl standing right behind Trump at the rally? I'm like, the chances, there's no coincidences no more. So
no,
I do think these people exist, these celebrities that you talking about, like JFK Jr., his wife. Just the other day, I saw a video of what looked like Robin Williams at the Trump rally.
Really?
Yes. At his Trump rally, I think it was in like South Dakota or something like that. That was recent, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. They show a picture of the guy right behind Trump, and I swear to God, I ain't never seen anyone else look like Robin Williams.
So yeah, I mean, to me, there's either two options with that. It's either that, yeah, that's who they are, or it's some sort of like crisis actor that they put in there to make you think that that's what they are. I don't know either way.
It wouldn't be far-fetched, though. Just think about it. It wouldn't be a far-fetched idea if there is some kind of secret satanic Masonic religion that gets all the celebrities, gets all the politicians, bribes them, whatever, however they do it. Hold on. It wouldn't be a far-fetched idea to think that if these people wanted to get out of that secret society and there was a way out with Trump, that they would fake their death and become like go into like witness protection
Mm-hmm.
for the rest of their life, just to get out of it, give their testimony on paper, get it signed and approved by a judge and an attorney, and put the seal on it. This is Robin Williams' testimony. He before he committed suicide. They won't even tell you he's still alive, and he'll go live his life out somewhere where nobody will even know he's alive.
Yep.
I mean, it's all a show, and no one ever saw really any evidence of that except
That's
for the
true.
story.
And isn't it convenient that like all of them are dying the same way? Like, why would Robin Williams want to hang himself? Like, yeah, he was depressed. I guess they say he was. You can't believe anything,
Yeah.
TMZ says or nothing like that crap. But him, Chris Cornell, the singer for Linkin Park, they all died the same exact way,
Yeah, tons of
right?
Anthony
Yeah.
Bourdain too, right?
Yeah, like
Epstein.
didn't kill himself.
That's what adds credibility to it, though, because that's what adds credibility to what I just said. Because
Right? Yes.
Epstein's client list and all the Epstein court trial and the Maxwell shit, everything from their trials have not come out. It's still secret. And I believe they're not releasing that information because there's witnesses that have gone into witness protection, like I said, like Robin Williams, for example, that they're not going to fucking leak his testimony. It has become like secret now. And they're not going to tell you he's still alive if he is. They're not going to tell you that he testified on Epstein or Clinton or whoever he knew was involved, like Weinstein, like you had mentioned in Hollywood. They're not going to just put that on CNN so everyone could know, so the people involved could run away or kill witnesses and shit like that. They're going to keep it all secret.
That's one of the things that actually made me really start looking into shit is when Bill showed me all the sealed indictments. And like, I know there's always sealed indictments, but not these numbers. These sealed federal indictment numbers that are in the hundreds of thousands, something like that, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there was like 144, and then it became like 257, and now it's supposedly up somewhere around 400,000 or 500,000 of them.
It's insane. It's unheard
Yeah,
of.
it's true. It's true. You're right. There's like 500,000 indictments, and I was just having this discussion in my space the other day with someone, because someone who was pretty much saying, "Why is it taking so long?" They keep putting a date on it. Like Q said this, Q said that. They keep trying to put dates on it, like it's going to happen tomorrow, and that's it. Everything's going to change. But I tried to explain to him that if there was such a shadow organization and they indicted 500,000 people, like how long does it take to do one federal case? Sometimes it takes like 5 years. Sometimes just to get through one federal case. So I was like, if there's 500,000 indictments, do you think they would be able to do that in one Trump presidency of 4 years? No, I think it would take like 10, 15, fucking 20 years maybe to get through all those indictments.
Yeah, even if they're just going through the big ones and then they're going to tell the truth and let it out, even that's going to take a long time.
Dude, just try to wrap your head around that number. Like, how did they even get that? You know what I mean? Like, is there 500,000 people in the FBI or, you know what I mean? Well, I can't say FBI because they're crap. They're dirty.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, how do you get that amount of people? Who gives those
wave,
people up?
Dominoes, once you get one big person, everyone behind them has to, fall
underneath
in
that.
line.
Right.
Especially
That's
if you
true.
got the biggest
Well, they
one
got
first.
the client list. Once they got Epstein, they got it all.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess there's
So they're like taking these guys out behind closed doors and like cloning them, or what?
Oh, you mean the people that are supposedly dead but they're still alive?
Yes, exactly. Or they're incarcerated,
like quote unquote Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
like
who
Keanu,
says they know,
like you, Ted.
Anybody who says they know is lying to you, but also anybody
Yes.
who says that there's not something going on is also lying to you, because there's
Or they're
clearly
lying to
people
themselves.
wearing masks. There's clearly
mask,
people
for
that are
sure.
different ears, different noses, all kinds of different stuff. So
I got a good
something's
one.
happening, but Yeah.
What do you guys think about this, like, celebrity switchovers? You know, like Alex Jones and Bill Hicks and what is it?
That's a good
Van
one.
Morrison and Rush Limbaugh
Oh,
or Jim
right, yeah.
Morrison, I mean.
Jim Morrison, yeah.
Oh, and Trump and Elvis.
That one's killing me, dude.
Dude,
Hey, Phantom,
people are adamant about that.
is Trump Elvis? Can we just?
I don't know if he's Elvis, but I've been hearing that Trump is General Patton.
Right? I mean, you
mean,
look at the pictures, you're like, damn, like, at least maybe related. I don't
For
know.
sure.
It's
Even Robin
kinda
Williams
creepy.
was like identical to one of the old, like, Rockefeller ladies. Like Rockefeller's grandma or something
Those
like
Rockefellers
that,
had some handsome women.
Yeah, they did. So we'll just assume that they were dudes.
That's what inbreeding does to you.
Yeah, that's some creepy shit, man.
dude. Young Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's another thing. And I know Phantom can vouch for this. Dude, you cannot tell me that we would have known a quarter, an eighth of what we know now if it weren't for Q. No matter what it is, if it's, malicious or not, like, that had a purpose, and it was to dump all this stuff. Everything that we used to say were conspiracies is actually true, and someone had to go on to this 4chan and start dumping this stuff and get these people's attention, get them to trust him in order to say, hey, this is what I'm showing you, and it's the actual truth. Because before that, I know we were always like, okay, we know the Illuminati's out there, and we kind of joke about it, and it's like, the Bilderbergs, we knew about them from way back, and like, these are all the movers and shakers that we're never gonna know, and we can't do anything about it, right? But then all of a sudden, all this stuff just became like public knowledge. Like, you could just look it up, and it's all right there. There has to be something said for that. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't deny that was that accessibility factor. You know what I mean?
Well, I was watching the Q situation closely, and I was on the fence about it, not gonna lie to you. I wasn't sold on it. What sold me on Q was when he went on and dropped, Q went and dropped the word tippy top. I guess in referring to an iceberg, it's the tippy top of the iceberg or something like that. And then like 5 minutes later, oh, Trump is about to talk. I look, Trump comes out, starts talking. What does he say? It's the tippy top. I was like, whoa. Hold on. So I never heard anyone say tippy top before.
Right.
Okay. Ever. I never heard anyone say, hey, it's the tip, it's over there, the tippy top. I've never heard these words being used together. But now in one day, I got Q, who everyone's calling a psyop, saying it, and then the president following up with saying the same exact thing like 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's a little too close. That can't be a coincidence. There's no way. So after that, I felt Q was legit. But just, I think 2 or 3 days ago, General Flynn came out on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
He said Q was a psyop. So, I mean,
Well, there you have it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe
Yeah.
believe him. As much as I love the good general, and if he ever hears this, I want him to know I love him and I respect him, and thank you for your service.
He's got some skeletons in that closet too. That's what I've heard.
If he was involved, he would have to say that it's not real, because he has to get himself away from the conspiracy label. Because at this point, if you lug yourself in with Q, you're lugging yourself in with the conspiracy label.
Right, but I mean, there's pictures of him. Like, I just posted that picture of him and somebody holding up the giant Q quilt at one of his, rallies or whatever they are. You know what I mean? Like, you can't come right out and say that stuff when, like, in the last, hell, he did the what was it, Q pledge. I remember seeing that when it first came out on Telegram.
That was in 2020. That was
Yeah.
in 2020. I remember that.
Oh yeah, like, you can't run from this, bro. Like, so it's like either he's clowning and he's just trolling or whatever,
He got hacked, bro. His account got hacked.
or that's not. Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. There's a lot of people that don't like Flynn in this movement. Okay, they point out his ties with the Clintons when they were in Haiti and all that, and the shady business going down in Haiti. And he did, maybe I think between him and who was the dude, the falling out?
Admiral Rogers.
Yes, that whole spiel, right? Like where they were going head to head, and Rogers said he had dirt on him, right, and was going to leak it.
Yeah, Admiral Rogers was in control of the NSA. I think that's what happened. I think this is like a movie, like you said. And I think that Admiral Rogers and General Flynn, they were in control of the NSA. They seen that there was an Illuminati situation in our government. That it was like, instead of saying Illuminati, let me put it better, that the government was infiltrated from, bad actors. They love using the term actors. The government was infiltrated by bad actors. They had the emails of these people, the text messages. They had everything, all the phone calls, because the NSA, when it was created, its sole purpose of the NSA when it was created was to record every single communication globally, not just in America, but globally.
Right.
And they had everything in terabytes, teraflops, whatever you want to call it, in some fucking bunker somewhere, and it's all being recorded. And I think that when Trump won, they gave all the dirt from the NSA to Trump. Like, here you go. Here's those missing 33,000 emails that you were talking about. Well, here they are. We have them in our servers in the NSA. And I think that is what Trump used to begin that indictments that we saw. All those indictments, that's what opened Pandora's box for the New World Order, or the deep state, or whatever you want to call it.
Right. That makes sense. I know that he kept gloating about it, right? The 200 generals that he had behind him when he was first running, and I from my knowledge, I guess they've been trying to do this for 30 years or something like that. They've been trying to get a president to do this, and they tried to get Reagan to do it, and he folded. And I guess the whole thing with JFK back then, that they offed him, or supposedly offed him.
He folded.
Yeah, probably.
It took you a second.
Yeah. But yeah, so they've been, this whole operation to overthrow the deep state has been trying to go down for 60 years. I guess 60 years now, not 30. And our elections have been actually being stolen or
predetermined.
Thank you, Rufus, for the last 20 plus. Which shit. Now thinking back, I'm like, heck yeah. You know what I mean? Like the hanging chads in Florida and all that crap with Bush, and it was all a scam. It was crap, but yeah, anyway, he had the generals behind him, and that they had been waiting for someone to not take the bribe, I guess, right? And they knew that Trump would be the man. Does that sound something to that nature? Does that sound about right? Are you there, Phantom? Oh, we might have lost him.
Ghosted us.
He might have froze up, maybe.
Nah, I would never ghost you guys.
That was,
give my girl a kiss.
That man was a phantom for real just now.
Nah, I ran in the house to give my girl a kiss.
Oh, that's so good.
She said she's gonna fall asleep on me, so I said, "Get away from me." But when it comes to this JFK situation, JFK, that's something that really fucking pisses me off about everything. That our own president at the time, Americans were so fucking, they were so whack at the time that their own president is saying there's a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy. And they just didn't hear him or something. They didn't do nothing about it. They didn't question it. I just don't understand how the president is telling them there's like a conspiracy that wants to enslave every man, woman, and child, and I'll expose that evil plot before I leave this office. If I heard my president saying that shit, I'd be up in arms.
Like,
I don't
whoa!
give a fuck. Yeah,
and then he gets killed too. And
then he gets whacked.
Well, then all of a sudden he's got to be like, well, but we're going to go to the moon. Oh, okay, cool. Never mind. Forget forget what he just said. We're just going to the moon now, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to be something to it, you know.
I mean, how did they let it go on so long that it like it got this out of hand? That's what makes me think it's just all a movie, man, and all this technology was predetermined. And I mean, if they would have taken it out before we had all this technology, things would have been a lot different. But now it's like just things are so far gone. I don't know how, we can build back afterwards.
Person by person.
I
That's
think
the
they need to
way.
do a second. I think that they need to do another constitution. I already had like my own prophecy in place of things I thought was going to happen, and I swear to God, they started happening. And I was like, wow, I don't know how I could be so right. And I was predicting that Hillary was going to get elected, and we were going to have a civil war in this country, and that the civil war was going to get so bad, a lot of people were going to die. Russia was going to intervene because the civil war wouldn't have been between the people. It would have been between the people versus the government. It would have been like Russia would have nuked our military industrial complex because we really don't have a chance against our military. If we were to fight like right now, the United States military versus United States citizens, we would lose. They got planes, they got bombs, they got nukes, they got tanks. You got a fucking 7-round clip that they regulated, your gun rights away from you. You can't even fight back.
Right.
So I was like, I was using my own logic when I came up with this shit. I'm like, Russia's gonna hit our industrial complex. That will give us a chance to actually fight the military and win. And I was like, I think by 2020, we should be going into this war, and by like 2025, it should be over. And I was like, in 2025, they're gonna make a second constitution, because what happened was, if the president is corrupt, if the president is a criminal, and there's no check and balance to check the president, and he's a criminal, at any time he could attack your country, topple your government, put a new fucking dictator in place that's playing along with his plan. I was like, that's what happened in America, in my opinion. There was no one there to check the president. So I said, even if I gave you the Constitution right now and told you, read through it, and whatever you see wrong with it, let me know, circle it. If you need to add anything, we'll add it. You really wouldn't be able to do nothing with the Constitution. The Constitution is already perfect.
Right.
It has every right that a free nation, free citizenry needs to have to be free. The only thing that's missing is an executive branch with more than one executive that could check the other executive. And that's what I was thinking would happen by 2025. They would amend the Constitution to expand the executive branch to have more than one president, maybe 3 presidents, maybe 2 presidents, so they could check and balance each other. So that that one man doesn't have all the power to just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm having a bad day, and push the button and nuke everybody, or bomb Afghanistan or bomb Iraq like they did do.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by them letting it get so far gone. It almost needs like an amendment to the Constitution just because of the amount of that technology has advanced alone. And on top of that, the military has unmanned drones that are autonomous now, and
it's scary.
It's real scary, because I can't imagine there's that many psychopaths out there that are willing to attack their own American people. And if this would have gone down way back then, I think that they would have stood down and disagreed to go along with the orders. But now it's just automated.
I know. They've been trying to get rid of the sentient soldier for a long time. I mean, they've accomplished that. I know.
One way or another.
I'll tell you right now, knowing what we know and everything leaked, my kids ain't going in that military.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
So,
can you guys hear me still?
Yeah. You're good.
You are good, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for a second, I lost you guys for a second.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm using my Safari app to talk to you, so.
Okay.
Kind of fucked up there for a second.
It's all right.
So,
So tell us about your spaces.
Yes.
That's how I
Well-
even started talking to you. Is I randomly hopped in your space and I was like, man, I like the way this dude runs his spaces. Everyone was so nice in there. Everyone was friendly. You addressed everyone, gave everyone a chance to speak. It was nice.
Dude, your host, Sacred Clown, is awesome too. She's got like such a soothing voice. I feel like I'm like on an episode of NPR.
Yeah,
And-
just chilling.
Minus the
Yeah.
rhetoric.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
she comes in usually in the afternoons. You know, we host together because I do two spaces. I do one in the morning with two people or two dudes, where we just have discussion. But then when I do the second one in the evening, I call it the conspiracy theater. And what I do is I try to get a consensus. We start talking about all these different conspiracies. It's a conspiracy space. You can talk about any conspiracy you want. But what we'll do is we'll talk about a conspiracy and we won't change the subject. And I'll start asking person after person after person after person after person about the conspiracy. All right, what do you think? All right, what do you think? All right, what do you think? And I start like tallying it up a little bit. And a good example would be when I asked them, is Michelle Obama Big Mike?
What was the
So
consensus
good.
on that one? I'm
And,
curious.
and that night we actually came to a unanimous consensus where every single person I asked, no matter their race or gender or age, which I thought was crazy. I thought at least one person would say it was a woman. But every single person I asked that night said Michelle Obama is really Big Mike.
Well, one thing that gets me is every celebrity, and that's all they are celebrities. That wasn't a president. That wasn't. Anyway, they love showing pictures of them pregnant. They love it. They show them everywhere, but yet there's not a single picture of Michelle pregnant. Not one. How'd that happen?
And even the ones that they did recently show was 4 pictures, it was like AI generated.
Oh yeah,
It was
exactly.
like
And they
six,
She had
just came.
7
They
fingers.
popped out of
Fingers.
nowhere too. All of a sudden, there's these pictures that surfaced right around when everything else is surfacing about him. Come on.
and we came to a consensus that night. And even with flat Earth, I asked the question. I said, "Is Earth flat or round?" I asked so many people back to back. Probably asked 100 people that day,
Wow.
and like at least 80% of the people said Earth was flat. There was just very few people saying it was round, and I was like, wow, So we're coming to a consensus right now that the majority of people think Earth is flat. And I'm trying to come to it from an unbiased way. I don't even give my opinion. I'll be the last person after I talk to 100 people, then I'll give my opinion, because I don't want to sway no one's opinion. I don't want you to hear my opinion, and because I'm the host, you want to be like, oh, I'm agreeing with you. I don't even want you to agree with me. I want to hear what your own thoughts, what you got to say about it. And that day, even with Flat Earth, I put a poll there. 74% out of 250 people said fucking Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Damn right.
And I like the way
So-
I remember the one guy in there. I don't remember who it was, but they were starting to like kind of pop off at the mouth a little bit and say that, basically saying that flat earthers are crazy and it's the consensus in the scientific community. And you were like, whoa, man, you're in a room with these people. And in this room, as we just listened to, the consensus is that the earth is flat. So you can't use consensus. And he just like kind of shut down after that. It's like, well,
yeah, because it doesn't
handled.
matter. It's true. It doesn't matter. Look, if I talk to 100 people right now, 100 adults, none of them are crazy. They're all mature adults, able to carry on a conversation with me and answer questions. If I talk to these people, these logical 100 people, giving me their perspective, and we come to a consensus among us right now, we don't need your bullshit science after that. We just concluded here. We just all came together and talked about it, and we think Earth is flat. It shouldn't matter at that point. And that's what I'm trying to do now with all these conspiracies. I'm trying to come to a consensus, because a lot of people say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, no, I believe that. So I'm putting it all to the test now. And I'll ask about aliens. I'll ask about everything, New World Order. And I'm just trying to keep talking to people and listening, because, part of being a good host isn't talking. Part of being a good host is listening to the person that you're talking to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's all I do. Sometimes I sit there for a long time without even getting to say anything, but I hear the person now. I don't interrupt them. I just let them talk. And then I ask a little bit of questions. I let people ask them, oh, you want to ask them a question? Go ahead, no problem. And then we'll move on to the next person. And like that, we could easily start coming to consensus about all these conspiracies. Because I even heard one of you say earlier, all these conspiracy theories end up becoming true.
Yeah, they do.
So
They always end up becoming true eventually because people who look into stuff like that, they don't just pull stuff out of nowhere. We're not just believing everything. That's what you guys just believe that and you don't look at anything. We look at everything. We're more critical about our own beliefs than we are about other people's.
Bro, when I first got into conspiracies, all I tried to do, I went from it backwards and just tried to find any little hole in the story or whatever I could find to disprove that conspiracy theory. And it just kind of piqued my curiosity. But I think, that's us doing the service to society as a whole, find out the real truth.
Absolutely. So how often do you do the spaces?
I try to do them every day.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw him like every day, but I was like,
yeah, you know what it is? I got 8 kids. So
that keeps you busy.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Like even now, you heard all the noise happening. That's because the older kids got their friends over and stuff. Everyone's smoking weed and shit. Some of the kids are grown.
Yeah.
My oldest is 22. So, it's hard to do the spaces and have focus on it. You want to have a conversation to be able to pay attention to what the person's saying, but at the same time, you got a fucking 8-year-old telling you, "Can you pour me some cereal?" So it's not easy to do it every single day, and I try, but it's enjoyable. Getting to hear everyone's perspective, getting to meet a lot of new people and hear what they got to say. Sometimes you might be stuck, and hearing all these different thoughts from all these different people, it would actually help you with your own train of thought.
Definitely. It's even hearing opposing views sometimes because then they might spark an idea that proves them wrong and it brings your mind somewhere else, for sure. I try to disprove myself all the time. I don't believe anything without mentally attacking it almost every day.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's crazy that you're like running the spaces and probably doing this podcast right now while you're like raising your kids, probably like getting them ready for school. Give your oldest like a bowl or two if he's out, and honestly that makes me feel like I don't ever have an excuse to miss one of these podcasts ever again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And he's got 8. Come on, man. What are you?
Yeah,
you never
so
have
you're
an
like almost
excuse
tripling
anymore.
me, man.
That's it.
Yeah, and then
I got a baby though, and that counts for like 5. So
the craziest shit is my 21-year-old son that he still thinks Earth is round, and me and him, we're going at it every day right
No
now.
way, really?
Because even in text messages, on Twitter, in real life, he'll call me like, "Dad, what are you doing?" I'm
He's
like,
on
"I'm not
Twitter?
doing anything." Yeah, he's on Twitter.
Send me
He's
his
going
at
under the
when we get
name.
off.
would love it.
I think he's going under the name Netrunner on Twitter.
Okay.
Oh, and he comes at you like an astrophysicist too, huh?
Well, you know what it is? My son, I don't know if you guys ever saw that meme. It says the guy who just started thinking.
No, I haven't, but I can picture it now.
It'll be like a guy that he's like doing the thinking face, and above him it'll say, "Oh, so we went to Iraq for whatever. We went to Iraq even though Afghanistan bombed it." Like it'll say all these different
Right.
jet fuel can melt steel beams, or
Yeah.
it'll say a whole bunch
Yeah,
of
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
and it'll say it's the guy who just started thinking, like a magazine cover. So my son is the guy who just started thinking.
So it's
And
going to
3
take him a
months
little
ago,
bit.
Yeah, 3 months ago, he heard me talking about this shit, and it piqued his curiosity when he heard him talking about it, because he seen that every time I would say something, him and his little girlfriend were there, and his little girlfriend would pull out her phone every time I would say something, and she would Google it. But every time she would Google it, it would be true. So they were like, "What the fuck?" Every time you say something, it's true though. Even though it sounds crazy conspiracy, every time I look it up, it's true though.
Yeah.
So my son was like, "Oh, started looking in. He's like, oh, Earth is round because of this. Earth is round because of that. And he's like, oh, I want you to come talk to my friend at work. He's around Earth. I go talk to his friend. His friend is like, nice guy, very polite guy, very smart guy. But when you talk to him, it's like reading the national brochure.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so there was a pleasant conversation. I had a few with him, and you know, it just kept making my son do more research and more research and more research, and to the point now where he's sending me videos. He's trying to prove trajectory and trigonometry and algebra. He's like
Yeah,
taking
that's what I
out
meant.
papers.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He's coming at you like that now, huh?
Yeah, he's like taking out
Oh.
papers and drawing fucking trigonometry on it. Like,
Yeah.
look, Dad, look, I'm telling you, you can do the formula, and you can tell that it's like that.
He's
no.
That's
he's
desperation.
becoming a
mode right
flat
there.
earther. That's exactly how you become a flat earther. We all went
Yeah.
through that. We all went through it. Like, nah, I'm gonna prove this wrong. I'm gonna do this, and it never works out that way.
All the math in the world's not going to give you that curve.
No.
It just ain't, man. Like when you come to that conclusion, I think that's a really crappy kind of thing too. You know, Ted and Rufus know what I'm talking about. It's like, man, all this math and all that, and none of it matters because it's not translating.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
math was
The only
my
math that
best
matters
subject.
is what that curve is, and if we can see further than that.
Math is great if you plug the right stuff in, but when you start plugging in stuff you're making up or assuming, it doesn't work anymore. It's that simple.
It's not
Mhm.
transposing to reality. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just not. Like
It's a tool.
not-
Math is a tool. That's it.
right.
You can use it. You can hit yourself in the head
bolster-
with the hammer, or you
That-
can nail a nail in with a hammer. It depends how you use it.
It's true.
It's a tool, and that's why the Globies love it so much.
So, what made you find Flat Earth, Phantom? What was the first thing? What got you there?
It was years and years and years of seeing little different things, you know. And then when I found God and started reading the Bible and shit,
You're like,
that's
damn,
when I was
page
like,
one,
yo,
huh?
Earth is flat in the Bible too. What the
I
fuck?
know.
That was it.
That hit me too. I was like, damn, page one, man. All I ever had to do was read, and I had read it, honestly. I read the Bible, if I'm being honest, I read it more when I didn't believe in God than I do now. But, so I've read the whole thing like 3 times. Once you realize and really look at what it's saying and take it literally, it's all right there, man. It's all there.
Could we have said it, but could we have, you know, read it the same way when we were asleep?
No, I couldn't.
No way.
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't. You're right. You know, I read the Bible when I was young, the whole thing from front to back. And I was like, okay, I read the Bible. That was it. Boom. Moved on with life. But then when I started to actually believe in God and start taking it serious, just like you said, first page of the Bible, chapter 1, like, I was like, whoa, it's right on the front page. Because I was already doubting. I was already doubting the moon landing big time. I was already doubting all the CGI, blue marble pictures that they keep coming out with. Then I was like, you know, are satellites real? I've never even seen a picture of a satellite. When I look one up, it's either like a satellite on the ground in a fucking dust-free environment, they're working on it, or it's like a CGI version of it now in space where they're like, look, it's in space, the telescope, this, that. And then I was like, you know, if they got this fucking telescope in space, they could see all these galaxies light years away and shit. Can't they just fucking turn it around and show us
Take a
Earth?
picture.
Like, well, like, why aren't they doing that? Like,
I know.
so I started to question the fuck out of Earth's shape until, like I said, I read the Bible, and that's when it really clicked for me that we've been lied to. And a lot of people try to say, "Oh, but the Bible's been manipulated, and how do you know it's?" The Bible's been around for so many years right now. At this point, that they have come out with other editions of the Bible.
Yeah.
But regardless, the real Holy Bible is the Jewish Torah, and they haven't changed that. So if you want to compare the Torah to the Bible of today, of course it's going to be a little different. They use Hebrew and different words and stuff like that, Aramaic, and they're translating it into English. It's going to be a little bit different, but for the most part, I feel like it's accurate. And a lot of people try to change the definitions and the meaning of it, and they say, "Oh, it has a double, triple, quadruple meaning." And I'm like, "Hold on,
I know.
it says firmament. Like, why are you trying to change it to something that it's not? It says right here firmament. So why are you trying to say that? Oh, the best way to describe what I'm telling you is the meme that says, I went to a priest and told him, Earth is flat, and I showed him the book, the Bible, and I showed him about the firmament, and the fucking priest pulls out a science book. You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, Earth isn't flat, and that actually happened to me the other day. I was talking to a priest about it,
What?
pastor, whatever, and we were talking about flat Earth, and he pretty much said, nah, that's not. They just used different words back then.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
So get him to
But
tell
it's-
you his favorite Bible verse and then manipulate the words on him and see how he likes it. Be like, oh, they just use different words. You're wrong. That doesn't mean what you think it means.
I think my favorite, if someone's gonna ask me what's my favorite Bible verse, I think it's Psalms 58:10. It says, "The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance; he shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked." That's my favorite Bible verse.
Yes, sir.
That's how you know God ain't gonna play when he does come. When Jesus, when he does come back, there's gonna be some real revenge and some real hell to pay, to the point where if you're a righteous man, you're gonna be washing your feet in the blood on the ground. So much blood, you wash your feet in the blood of the wicked.
Damn.
Powerful.
Yeah, I know.
But it's just a fiction book anyway.
It's just a parable.
Entertainment purposes only.
It's a parable. That's all.
A good example of what I'm talking about is when we talk about the mark of the beast. That's one of my favorite subjects. And
Okay.
I didn't know what the mark of the beast was until I read the Bible after I became sentient. At first, I knew the mark of the beast was like, oh, they're going to mark your hand or your forehead. That's all I knew, because I had read it in the Bible. That's all I knew. Then when I went back now as a man, thinking for myself, I read it again. And it says that the mark of the beast is 3 different things. And I'm like, what the heck? The mark of the beast is 3 different things. And I start reading it, and it is. It really is. It's his name, his number, and the symbol of his name. That's what it says in the Bible. And I didn't realize that until now, until this year.
Do you have an idea of what that is? Besides the commercial version,
Well, I just did a space on this not that long ago. And I asked some pretty intelligent people what it is. And everyone kept giving me their opinion on what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, it's going to be a microchip. Someone said, oh, it's going to be a barcode. Someone else said, oh, it's going to be the vaccine and all this and all that. Not one person out of all the people that I asked, not one person said the mark of the beast is 3 different things according to the Bible. And I think the mark of the beast is going to be those 3 things. I was the only person that said that. I was the only person out of everyone that said, well, the mark of the beast is his number, his name, and his mark, and that's what's going to be on your forehead or your hand. It's not going to be a microchip. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that when we do get to that point, you can see it's coming. They're trying to already phase out money. So now you got to pay everything digital. Elon Musk got the Neuralink almost activated. So,
does he though?
Dude, I don't think any of that shit is real, to be honest. Like, none of it. The microchip, like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not like we have like a USB port in our brain and you just plug it in there.
I do.
And dude, you've been hanging out with Sacred too much, bro.
You can never hang out with Sacred too much.
I mean, my dad's still waiting on internet, bro. So I don't know. He's like, he called me the other day. He's like, come on, Elon. I was like, you're going to be waiting a lot longer, my man. I can't even talk to my dad about flat Earth.
I feel like he might be the Antichrist, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie.
There you go.
And Trump's like a distraction. Everyone
Right.
look over here, and then Elon's hiding out in the background wearing the Baphomet costumes and shit.
He does rock
Yeah.
weird
He
shit.
came out. Elon Musk came out with the upside down cross with the Baphomet head on the red suit of armor one day. And what really makes me think he's down with the shit is that, okay, just think about all the people you know. Just think about everyone you've ever heard about or you know, and ask yourself, okay, has the government ever gave this person that we $2 billion? Do you know anyone that the government has gave $2 billion? No.
Zelensky.
Well, besides Zelensky, of course, they
A
gave
person.
Zelensky They gave him $100 billion, but Elon Musk, NASA gave Elon Musk in 2022 $2 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I feel like if the government's giving you $2 billion, you're a motherfucking government employee.
But
Period.
why? Because they're not doing a
Thank
good
you.
enough job, or what? Or because people trust Elon more than
I
they
can tell
obviously
you-
don't trust the government. They're passing the torch.
I can tell you why. Because FOIA.
Yes.
Because we
That
can
makes
Freedom
sense.
of Information Act their asses. You can't do that to a private company. So there you go. We avoided it.
So they gave Elon the Boring Company, right? Elon got the company that makes tunnels.
Yep.
He got the company that does SpaceX, right? They
Yep.
want to transition us to electric vehicles. He got the company that does electric vehicles. He got the satellite company that gives everyone data. Because, you know, now we don't even need motherfucking cable or satellite TV at this point. We just need internet connection at this point. So he got the internet. Now he got the monopoly on free speech with Twitter. That's 5 different things. And guess what's the last thing he got? The 6th thing he got? The Neuralink.
Sixth.
The 6th.
Owns all of them.
Interesting.
So that's
does this
it. You
mean-
hear this. You heard it here first. If you use Twitter, drive a Tesla, and what's one other one?
So did we
That's
take
the
the?
3 marks.
Is that what the mark? Is it the blue check mark? Is that? Did we take the
Oh
mark?
no!
Oh, wow.
It's like we literally called it the mark.
Oh no!
We're done, dude. We'll see you in hell,
No,
guys.
not only did we take it, but we paid for it. Oh, we're
I
supposed to
know.
That's crazy. That's just
No,
Thanks,
but I-
Phantom. Thanks.
He's got a good chance of being the Antichrist. I'm telling
He
you.
could
He's so
be.
likable. They prop him up so much. He's got the most followers of anyone.
He may have
That guy,
also had a
Elon
head
Musk.
wound.
We'll know. That will be how you know. That will right there. You know, that's the best thing to have the knowledge and have read through the Bible. So you know who the Antichrist is going to be. You already know these little signs. And when you see this person take a head wound and heal it, and it's like almost like a miracle, like magic, you already know right there, oh shit, that's the Antichrist. If that was to happen to Elon Musk, then you'll know for sure it's him. And I think it's possible. I think he's so likable that even if you don't like him and he was to heal himself and say, you know, oh, I'm the Messiah, blah, blah, blah. You know how many people are going to eat that shit up for breakfast?
Dude,
Oh my God.
I can say me. I think at his core, he's evil, but I kind of like him too. So it's like the shit he says, I'm like, I agree with a little of it, but you're hiding everything from us and lying.
I think he's a goob too.
Oh, actually, I mean,
Dude, I think he was going to give you a chance at salvation with that suspension,
Yeah,
Dad.
I know.
Oh,
It's
let's
not that
go.
bad.
I mean,
I'm-
yeah, he's all right, man. You're
Yeah, I
okay.
love Elon. No, actually, in reality, I'm speaking of in the movie. If I'm thinking of in reality, I don't
Right,
think
right,
he
right.
really runs a single one of these companies.
No.
Because
No.
who can run that many companies that are that successful?
He's not really that smart.
Plus, he's the richest man in the world.
I know.
Is he though?
He's from humble beginnings, all right? His family only had one diamond mine. Okay? Do you know what that's like growing up being the only kid with one diamond mine at your
I just have
But
such a hard time believing in anything. Go ahead.
There is a lot of pictures, though, showing his family, his mother. I think her name is May Musk or some shit like that.
Yep.
Right.
They use a lot of Masonic symbolism. And if I've learned anything these last months, if you're associated with the Masons in any way, you're involved in a secret religion, a religion that nobody knows about, that all the celebrities and all the motherfuckers belong to, the politicians. And the religion isn't the Masons. They're a Mason. But once you get inside of the Masons and you get to a certain level, that's when you start going from Mason, from the Mason stuff to Satanism.
Yep.
And that's when you have to transition.
Yeah, and that's when you learn the real secret knowledge. None of these people think that, none of them are atheists. Not one Mason is an atheist. Even Charles Darwin was a Mason, and he was the one talking about evolution. But
Yeah.
to be a Mason, you have to believe in God. So he believed in God, even though he tried to throw the bullshit out there about evolution. Every single one of these Masons believe that the devil is the real true God.
Right. I was gonna say it's inverted, right?
Yeah, and they believe Lucifer is the light bearer and all that, even though in the Bible it says Jesus is the light.
And
You're
that's why
right,
they
try
won't
to
swear
invert
on
it.
the Bible when someone asks them if they went to the moon.
Because they're not allowed to take any oaths. They have already taken an oath to the Masons to never.
Yes, I did.
They take an oath of silence. They take an oath that if they ever divulge anything, that they'll fucking cut off the top of their head and let the sun boil their brain. Like, these people don't play.
That's
that sounds
literally
fun.
Mm-hmm.
in the book. Yeah, that's written. You're correct.
But there's no stopping them from looking like idiots when they try to deny it. So
No.
people are doing good work.
Yeah.
It's crazy how we can actually have something like this running the world and not have stopped it. And it's to a point now that you won't be able to identify these people once they go into hiding.
Right.
You know, unless they're like the celebrities that go and do the one hand symbols and all the Mason shit.
It's
And
I
all
was
the
gonna say is
symbolism.
like they still got to do that though, don't they? They can't help themselves. They got to run out there like the video of Paul McCartney that Ted posted, like the overly obvious,
Yeah,
hi, how are you
Illuminati
doing? And it's
sign.
just Illuminati. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, like.
Well, you know what? You know how when certain things happen, Christians or Catholics feel the impulse to make the sign of the cross?
True.
Well, they're just
That's
making
a
their sign,
good
man.
Good point.
Well, that's why I always touch my crotch when I do the cross.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing.
I was gonna say, yeah. Well, we all
It's
know
a
that's
full
inverted.
cross,
Yeah, and
and
so it's
everyone
not
always
upside
gives
down.
me weird looks. But
He's got a point.
I
I mean,
know.
the
I didn't
Catholic
get it
one
for a
is
second.
inverted.
I thought he was just making some sort of weird joke, and then I was like,
I thought
oh,
so too,
the
but
full
then
cross.
yeah,
You're just
no.
you're just smarter than
I
me.
get a lot of
see.
weird looks in church, man. But
Well, I mean, you know what happens when people touch themselves there in church usually, so.
that's how I met my wife.
All right.
Oh, soundbite.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna play
Well,
that at your 20th wedding anniversary.
It's like Fanta was it's like Fanta was talking about earlier. They. I lost myself. I'm still thinking.
You're
I'm
still
picturing.
thinking of the clip for his
I'm
wife.
trying not to.
You're picturing
Oh
him
no!
old.
But when we were
Okay.
talking about like that awakening moment, like once it was shown to me that the cross is actually inverted, that like Catholic priests do and everything, dude, that blew my mind. I'm like, I've even done that. I'm not Catholic and I've done it. You know what I mean?
Dude, back in the day when I was a child, my favorite WCW wrestler was Diamond Dallas Page, dude. He was blatantly
Always
just putting
throwing
that
up the
symbol up
diamond.
in the air, man. I feel so violated now.
I know, just like Jay-Z.
Yeah, when I was young, I used to live in New York, and I was actually raised as a Catholic, my whole life. So in New York, they got all these massive churches in New York City, beautiful, beautiful churches. And I remember I used to just go into one of them that was close to my house, and I used to feel like I've been so bad. Oh my God, I need the priest to bless me. I would just walk up to the priest. He'd be doing whatever with people and everything, and I would literally walk up to him and just like put my left knee down to the ground, and I'd be like, "Oh, Father Eugene, can you please bless me?" And he would do that. He would put his hand on my head, and he'd be like, "Espíritu Santo," all that, saying it in Spanish and Latin, Jesucristo, nombre del Padre, all that, and he'll bless me right there, when I was young. But I'm not a Catholic no more. And, the way I look at religion now is like, I don't subscribe. I don't put no labels on myself. You know, I don't label myself with anything. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't subscribe to no mainstream religion, although I do believe in God and I do read the Bible. You know, because I feel like all those mainstream religions, they're just about money. It's about corruption. You can see a lot of shit came out about them being pedophiles too. You know, so
Yeah.
I can't
To
get
say
down
the
with that shit.
least.
I can't get down with that shit at all. I'm not with it.
Same.
And you know, I'll love God and I'll still believe in God, but I'll never, you know, for me, this is church right here, what we doing right now. You
Yeah.
know, talking like this, and I talk to people like this all the time, even in real life. Like I feel like that's when you really making an impact, and when you're really
Mm-hmm.
worshiping God is when you're doing it like this, when a little small group of people, where it's not about money, it's not about telling people they don't belong here, and none of that shit. It's really about God. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. There's this old
Mm-hmm.
saying that's almost exactly like what you're saying that I love. It's like, I'd rather be in the woods thinking about God than in church thinking about the woods. Like, be out there and do it on your own. You don't need to go to a building. You don't, like, no offense to you because I've done the same thing, but you don't need to go to some guy to bless you. They're just another person. You make the connection yourself and with other people just because.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he was saying though too, like now seeing how like wrong that was, right, Phantom? Like taking the knee to
Yeah.
a man. You know what I mean? Like who is this
Who
dude?
probably molested little children.
Yeah, that or just I mean, look at the Pope, dude, walking through the poorest parts of the world, man.
Yeah. With
Just
his
littered in gold
blinged
and
out. Yeah. Just
yeah,
crazy.
like and kiss my hand and don't and like slapping people that he don't want touching them and shit. Like who
That's
do
the
you think you are,
that's
bro?
the thing. I
yeah,
grew
I
up
saw that.
Catholic
I saw
too.
that.
And what I don't
Mm-hmm.
get about them is the very one of the biggest things God says is not to worship anybody other than Him, and all Catholicism is about is worshiping other things, all
Yeah,
of it.
man.
Great point.
Worship
Saints.
Mary, worship this saint. Yeah, everything. You worship everything except God. That's the last person you go to in Catholicism. You lose something, go to Saint Anthony. You're worried about something, Saint
Yeah.
Francis. It's like, what about God? What about? Oh, we
You
don't.
even confess your sins to the priest, like if he's God.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That I've never done, thank God.
No,
Me
neither.
neither.
But
But
I
I always just
know
like made some shit up.
my grandparents.
They made
Yeah.
you go and CCD. I'm like, I'm not
You're
fucking
like, I
telling
said
this
a
dude.
curse word.
Yeah, every time,
Yeah,
dude.
I
Every
know.
that's
That's the
Mary's
I
easiest
like
way.
stole one of
But
those.
that's what's even
You know
worse.
that.
Then you lied to a priest. That's the
you're
real
saying
sin.
our fathers and Hail Marys, and there ain't one lick of God in there.
I know.
Screw those
Nothing.
guys, dude. I mean, what is it? What do you guys think it is that is going on? I have this conversation with one of my good friends all the time. But what do you think is going on with like all the pedophilia in the church? Is it like something that they're taught,
Well, think of a
or
normal man at a young age willing to take a life where you'll never sleep with the woman. You have to be a certain kind of person at that point anyway. And I'm not saying all of them, but someone who's already awkward and
yes?
maybe is gay or isn't
There's a
attracted to
lot of
women,
them that
so
are
they're
gay.
so
Yeah.
they're
A
okay
lot.
with the idea of never sleeping with a woman because they don't want to anyway, and at
I
that
mean,
young
at that
age.
point, you could,
And then for 30 years you don't have sex, and then you're gay, never had sex, and you're around a bunch of little boys that you have power over. It's a recipe for disaster. That's my opinion.
Because we know who
you know,
their
that's kind of what
real
my
God
buddy said.
is. It all trickles down, bro, from especially the Catholic Church. That is an organized religion, like Phantom said. These are
It's its own country.
systems. That's what I'm saying. They got their own laws.
Their own
They
military.
like this ain't normal,
I
people.
know. Why? Why does
You
the
know what I
church?
mean?
Why
That
does the
is
church need
that is
military?
a complex.
And it's gonna get much worse because now, and I don't mean to say anything bad about the LGBT alphabet crew, but
Alphabet crew.
now they're doing church, and they groom
Oh my
children
God.
straight up.
Yeah.
So you could already see where I'm going with that. I don't even have to say anymore.
Yeah.
That now they're starting to have their rainbow churches, and you already know what's going to happen in those rainbow churches. The same thing that happened in the Catholic Church, and
And
I
as
think
soon
that
as
the
somebody
reason,
tries to investigate, they're gonna cry discrimination.
Isn't it
these
funny
they're
too?
everything is covered up. The shit with the
Mhm.
Catholic Church with all these children, that was a well-known problem going
Oh,
on for a
still is.
long time, and they never did anything about it. They let it continue. They
Yep.
would find out that this priest is raping this person. They would move the priest somewhere else. He wouldn't even go to jail.
Yeah.
And they would pay the people off, and nothing would ever happen. And even when you bring it to the court system, it's almost like the Vatican and the court. The court system doesn't pursue charges when people belong to the Vatican. The Vatican got so much power that, an archbishop is being accused of molesting 20 children throughout 40 years. Just move him to another state,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
pay the people off,
Mm-hmm.
case dismissed. That's it. Like nothing ever happened. And it's gonna start happening with these rainbow churches. And I hate to say that, and I hope that the LGBT people that hear this shit
Wow.
don't get offended, but we
I
could
don't think
already
there's
see.
too many listening to this.
Yeah.
know,
Just gonna throw it out there
Nah,
because
you guys are gonna end up being famous. I'm telling you, Def, Rufus, Bill, and Ted, y'all niggas gonna end up being famous. I'm telling you that shit right now, because what you're doing on Twitter is getting noticed worldwide. I've talked to people from Japan, from all over the world, and they've seen your shit. They've seen your tweets about Flat Earth. You're
Oh,
reaching more people than you think. You know what I'm saying? And all it's gonna take is for you to just keep doing your thing. You don't have to do anything. Just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing with your tweets, with your podcast, and one day you're gonna see you have 1 million views or 1 million interactions with your tweet, because people are interested in what we're talking about right now. All this conspiracy shit, all this flat earth shit. We've come to an event horizon right now where
Yes, sir.
everyone is asking questions, where everyone is curious as fuck because they see something is just not right. There's something more to the story. Every time even like earlier you talking about space and how then they made the stratosphere. Like there's always something to fucking
I
fix
know.
the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like people are noticing that. Even the most normie fucking person is noticing that shit. And they're like,
Right.
another coincidence? Damn.
I
Like,
was
what the
wearing a
fuck?
conspiracy theory shirt the other day, and the dude working at the post office was like, "I like your shirt, man." I was like, "Hell yes, man!" People are waking up.
Yeah,
The
they're
postman.
thirsty. People are so thirsty right now for answers.
That's true.
And there's so much uncertainty. We live in such uncertain times that people now, they're looking to people like you guys that are posting this stuff, because it's almost like you're answering questions, but at the same time you're causing more curiosity. Like people will see your video, even me. I retweet and like a lot of your tweets because every time I watch your video, even for me, there's plenty of times that I watch it and I learn something and I'm like, damn, I'm just pretty much amazed by what I'm seeing, because I knew all
So are
along
we.
though. I knew all along though that it was something to it. So it's not like I'm so surprised, but I'm like, damn, shaking my head like, wow,
It still amazes me that I find things I didn't know. Like another proof. Here, I tell my wife, "Hey, I found another proof. Come look at this. This doesn't make any sense at all on the globe." She's like, "Yeah, it doesn't. We've established the Earth is flat. I get it." No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's flatter now. Okay.
No. Now we got a guy that's saying it's concave cellular.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yes.
I can't wrap my head around that. And I'm not saying because before I was a flat earther, I would have thought that was insane. And I'm also not saying I believe it. I'm just saying I don't think someone's crazy for believing it. I'm just saying what I have seen myself, I can't wrap my head around it. But I don't know everything about it, so I just leave it at that for now.
I had a dude in my DMs about it, and honestly, I just had to say, you know what, man, like that's cool if this is what that really is, but honestly, it's like way above my pay grade, and if we're ever gonna try and wake people up, we can't be coming at them with all this crazy
So that's why he stopped messaging me. Because you said that
like,
to
bro,
him.
I already look crazy enough, and then you're telling me I have to explain this shit.
The Little Shop of Horrors. Freaking.
It very well could be what it is, man. But
Hey,
for
you
sure
know what?
is not a globe.
I'll take anything but that stupid ass ball.
I know.
You know? At this point, give me
Yes.
something.
I think it was like 2017, 2018 when I had to come up with a new way to talk about flat Earth. Because right away it's like, oh, conspiracy theorists, they don't want to
Mhm.
hear it. That shit like overwhelms people's brains. So I came up with a new term. I was like, instead of saying flat Earth or flat earther or whatever, I was like, next time I'll say no, I'm a no spacer. And I
Yes,
started,
dude. I was just gonna say that, man, because the whole reason I turned down Flat Earth in the first place and didn't give it a good enough look is because I was like, dude, we're like a flat pancake floating
know,
around in
it's-
outer space.
The
It's a
wording
good
is
Dude,
bad.
that
point.
makes no sense. But one, and then, dude, it literally took me 2 years before I found out that about like the whole no space thing. It's just that's where it needs to start because you can't
Yes.
wrap your head around the fact that
Yes.
you're a freaking frisbee in outer space and all the other planets around.
Yeah, that's actually
It's
a
like
good
that
way to
famous
put it.
meme.
Have you had luck with that, Phantom? Switching it up like that?
well, I did actually. And at the time, I was working in the state capitol of New York in a like little store where I dealt with a lot of people, and I wasn't even dealing with like crackheads. I was dealing with people that work in the state capitol building there, that they were professionals with suits, making a lot of money, So at first, when I was saying flat Earth and shit to people, that like I said, it would overwhelm their brains so quickly
Yeah.
they couldn't even fucking talk about it at all. It's like, what? I don't want to hear about that. So then I was like, no spacer. So then next time I said, you know something? Actually, I'm a no spacer. I don't believe space is real. And when I started saying that to people, I didn't get that automatic burn, that conspiracy buzzer hit on
Right.
me.
Nice.
Because as soon as you say
Mhm.
flat Earth, as soon as you say 9/11 was an inside job, beep, they hit the conspiracy buzzer
Yeah.
on you. Or beep,
Yeah.
flat Earth.
Mhm.
What did you say, flat Earth? Brr, they hit the conspiracy buzzer on you. But now you're saying something they ain't never even heard yet. Oh, I'm a no spacer. They're like, what? And you get their attention for a second and you start breaking it down a little bit. And I did have a little bit of luck with that.
That's awesome.
But after a while, it's like I've been doing the research already since 20 something years, and I felt like the time to wake people up and all that shit for me, that shit is past already. It's like
Right.
for
You
me, it's
sound
like
like
now.
Bill. You sound
Mhm.
like Bill.
Of course, I'm like, right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Yes. That's
Yeah, the
how.
time to sit here for a few hours and try to tell someone, "Oh my God, wake up! Something's going on! Oh my God, can't you see it?" Those days for me, they're over. I used to enjoy doing it, but now it's like, if
Mhm.
you don't fucking see it by now, if you're blind to it, fuck you. When you do come to me with questions, I got you. I'll answer
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I'll try to answer them. But other than that, I'm not fucking going out of my way to wake people up anymore. The most I'll do is ask a few questions to the person to make them curious and be like, "What the hell?"
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yes. Well, that's why we're doing this, man, is because I think all four of us are just sick of trying to force ourselves into somebody's living room and
Yeah.
talk to them about waking up, man.
You
I
do
mean,
that
now we can
often?
just get it all done all at once.
That's
here.
called a home invasion, Rufus.
Oh, is that what that
You're
is?
trying to bust yourself
Yeah.
into someone's living room.
Make myself a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's kind
I can't tell you. I can't even begin to explain how many hours of my life I have spent trying to fucking wake people up and enlighten
Yes.
people. Like, and they just, you look at them and they're giving you the 1,000-yard stare,
hmm
going in one ear, coming out the other, and they're just like, "Oh, how can you think we didn't go to the moon?" I'm looking at them like, bro, what the fuck?
How can you think we did?
Did.
That's the
What?
question.
Like, come on. Like, come on.
Like,
And then now
that's
it's like
the
I got to
much-
spend an hour showing all these fucking
Yeah.
CGI fake pictures.
It's
And,
unreal.
but look
dude.
at the how's the wind blowing the flag and all this shit. Like, I just don't got the time for that and the patience no more for that.
I love how they make it seem like the claim that we didn't go to the moon is the outrageous claim, not the fact that we did. That's the fucking outrageous claim. You guys are the ones who are claiming this great thing. We're just saying, no, it didn't happen. And they're like, what are you, crazy? Like, come on.
Oh, it's the same with flat Earth
I
too.
know.
It's like, dude, flat Earth literally makes no sense, and it's like, no, dude.
Go
The only thing
outside.
that doesn't make any sense is this spinning water ball that's flying around out of control in a vacuum. That's what doesn't make
when
any
they
fucking
were
sense.
going and looking for new lands, right? Did they just show up there, go there a few times? They're like, all right, we're good. We don't have to go back anymore,
Yeah.
right? Or did
Well,
they
no,
keep going, or
they
they
lost
stayed
the
there? Go
they
ahead.
lost the data. Didn't they lose their data?
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus lost the telemetry data
Yeah.
to the West.
Dude.
Think
It
about
was
what
it was Mark
saying.
Columbus. It was his great
Oh.
grandson. That's who lost the telemetry
That's why
data.
Christopher had to go and do it all over again, right?
They had like the computing power of a fucking calculator
I
to make it
know.
to the moon. And now we have quantum computers and we can't go back. It just doesn't fucking
I
make
know.
sense at
You know
all.
what? Like, I really, I hate the fact that they won't admit, like, they won't even admit that if you go outside, it seems like it's flat and not spinning. They deny that. Like, everybody knows you don't feel the spin because it's not there. But even the ones who believe it is there know you don't feel it. They know you don't see a curve ever in your life. So if no one told you that you were on a spinning ball, you would never, ever, ever think that. So again, they're the ones making the outrageous claim, and they won't even act like they can see where you're coming from. They'll deny even the simplest things.
But don't you remember people were crying when Hillary Clinton lost the election? Like, can you imagine?
Good point, man. Good point. All right.
Can you imagine challenging their reality any further than that?
I know.
It would be like a fucking meltdown. Like, oh my god! They'll have like a Karen meltdown. They'll have a fucking Karen meltdown if they found out Earth was flat.
You're right. I give people too much credit sometimes in my head.
And let's not even talk about it's all based on faith. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
You
I
know, like you have faith in the scientists and the physicists and NASA and all that they're telling you the truth.
But you've never been there. You've never done any research whatsoever.
But
you
you're
don't
an
even know the
atheist.
size or shapes of anything, you know. Yeah.
That always brings me,
and you know it, and you're going to tell everyone.
Yeah.
That always brings me back to the Trinity experiment. Because people will be like, well, how could so many scientists and people be in on it and nobody know and then nobody's saying anything? How could it be such a big conspiracy like that?
Mhm.
And when we did the first nuclear bombs, even that's fucking conspiracy theory. But when we first did the Trinity experiment, they were supposedly, allegedly, because the nukes could be fake. I'm not even
Nukes
gonna lie.
are
That's
fake.
another
Nukes are
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah, that's another
we
another
all
conspiracy theory right there that I'm starting to believe in.
Yes,
So,
sir.
go to my timeline and type in nukes, and I have a
I
thread.
think I've seen it. I think I've seen it with the ones with the videos and the cars there,
Mm-hmm.
and then the camera's not melting. Like,
And,
what the?
and to
Yeah,
me,
dude, and
it's,
it's like
it's
there's
also
so much
Go ahead,
there's
sorry.
so much contradicting evidence too. I mean, they say that it has all this nuclear fallout and, you know, all these people dying from cancer, but they're testing them like right around a bunch of sailors and
That's
whatnot.
because they were
And-
using nuclear bombs light. They weren't using like nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
They were using nuclear bombs light.
well, the dude
You
could
know?
still see through his hand
I
and see
know.
his bones.
That's
So
To
But
me,
what I was trying to say real quick was that during the Trinity experiment, though, there was supposedly 3 different locations in the United States where they were working on it, with 130,000 people involved, and nobody ever leaked any information. Nobody ever warned Japan, hey, we're gonna nuke your ass. You better fucking do something. Nobody
Right.
warned them. They were able to maintain secrecy between 130,000 people. Now imagine what they could do with a fucking police government, with a police state, with a camera on every corner, fucking license plate reader. They listening to every phone call and text message. Imagine what kind of secrecy they could maintain today.
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Way
true.
more power. Way more. And people who are in on a huge conspiracy don't know they're in on a huge conspiracy. They know they're
Exactly.
keeping the little secrets that they know, and that's their job. And they sign papers, and they like their life. They're married. They have kids. They're not going to upset it unless, even the good ones aren't going to upset it unless there's a huge reason. And they don't know it's this giant conspiracy. Even half the people, I'd say more than half the people working at NASA, really believe that they're sending shit to space. The people
Yep.
who build these satellites really believe they're going into space, but they're going on balloons. That's it. They don't put any like propulsion on these things. They throw them out there and they go in orbit, right? So now they're hanging on balloons. They're building the same thing. Most of the people don't know. The ones who do know think they're doing good by keeping government secrets, and they're not going to say it. And the ones who do, people say, well, why don't any astronauts say anything? Well, a Polish one did, and one other one, I forget,
A Russian.
Russian, yeah, that's right. And people immediately call them crazy. So you say, why don't they say it? And then they do, and you're like, oh, they're just crazy.
Right, because that was only 2 people. There's 500 more.
I know.
Okay, well, those 2 people got handled real quick.
Yeah, I know.
So are
Exactly.
the other.
What
yeah,
about
the
Gus Grissom, the dude who was talking about it
Yeah.
being a freaking lemon, and then they burned him up and killed him? It's pretty simple. You don't do
hung
it.
Hung a lemon inside the cabin. It's like we're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's a bomb.
And then they go to the moon the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Did everybody in that control room follow them out to make sure that they walked along that pathway into the space shuttle?
Yes.
Or whatever, into the rocket? Yeah, they were all there, right? They all witnessed that happen.
Every single
Oh,
were
one.
dude, I
what?
saw something where there's like an emergency slide
There is.
that you can secretly exit.
It was
out
on the
of
BBC. They talked about it like it was nothing.
Yeah.
It was literally a news segment. The dude went down the slide into the room. This bunker, the walls are 18 feet concrete. Like, I'm like, holy crap! They're just showing
Shield them
you.
from the blast.
And people are like, well, if it was a bad thing, why would they show you? Because you're that dumb and you don't even see that it's a bad thing. Because of how you're reacting.
show
That's
you.
why they show. I know that, but try to tell a normal person that. What do
Right,
you mean
I
they
know.
have to? Who's making them? God. Karmic rules.
Sit down.
Like,
Sit down and shut up. I need
go
4
chug
hours.
some more fluoride. Come on. That's what you need to do. Sorry, Phantom.
Oh
Sorry.
man, Phantom,
We're-
it's been great having
He's
you
like,
here.
I'm never gonna send them an invite to a space ever again.
I got a lot of people been messaging me these last 2-3 days, like, when are you opening the space? Because I just been so busy with these kids, with life, that it's like
Yeah.
I don't want to open the space and not be there to talk to the people and just be in the background fucking washing dishes or some shit. Like, I want to be present when I do a space. So
That's pretty soldier though. Just so you know.
Even trying to do dude, we have trouble doing this once a week. Like, we obviously are on Twitter every day and doing stuff, but it's different being in a space, especially how you said you want to give it your undivided attention. You feel like you owe that to people. So it's very hard to make that time, especially with kids. You're a good dad spending time with them. Like, that takes up a lot of time. A lot of stuff takes up time. And that's why that's the main thing that makes me mad when people talk crap on people like us, because I'm not saying we're offering some gift. We're trying to share stuff that we think is true, and the flat earth stuff we know is true. The other stuff, shit's weird, and we try to share it because we found it interesting. And then for people to come after we take all this time to put stuff together and just be like, you're an idiot, you're a grifter, you're just trying to do this, like, it's so frustrating because all any of us want to do is have good conversations with people and maybe make them talk about or think about something that they didn't before. That's it.
you're definitely making a dent, I'm telling you, because even my girl, I told her to make a Twitter because I don't have any other social media, just Twitter. And so she has every social media except for Twitter. So she was like, no problem. She created the Twitter. And then she was like, oh, I want to be involved with whatever you're doing. I want to see what you're looking at. And then she literally started sending me videos or tweets from you guys in my DM.
What?
Yes.
That's so cool,
Dude,
man.
my brother did the same thing. I was like, this is crazy. He's like, I've been trying to wake him up for a long time, and he finally like kind of reached the precipice and started sending me some shit. And before he knew that, like, the four of us were a thing, he started sending me stuff from Tad, and I was like, dude, that's my homie.
He's lying, Rufus's brother. I don't know this dude.
And then he dropped out.
Oh,
He's gone.
He's gone. I didn't mean to insult you, Rufus.
Damn.
He'll come back.
Damn,
Well,
just like that.
You guys should definitely do like a recorded space on Twitter, and
It's coming.
it has to be a weekly thing on there. Another night of the week, you guys can have to do another show. 'Cause I'm telling you, it would be so popular. A lot of people would join. It's coming to the point where I think that if you guys were to do it consistently, you would easily get thousands of listeners within a few minutes. Because so many people are engaging with your tweets.
Oh, Rufus is back. Sorry.
So we don't want to necessarily step on toes as well. We try to keep it way real, man, because we're just regular dudes. You know what I mean? Like, and we all been in bands. Well, like not all of us, but at least Ted and I have been in bands, and we know how this shit works. Everybody's trying to do their thing. They want a voice and stuff like that. So everybody gets their time. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know how it got to this point. So, and we're blessed for it, but we also feel like we got to give that and let the rungs of the ladder down and take everybody up as well.
And
you know
pay
what I
our
mean?
dues
So,
a little more.
Yeah, a little more, because there's been people like Sacred and these other and y'all been doing it a long time. You know what I mean? And you guys got a lot of your wealth of information. You got a lot of diehards.
You deal with people better.
Yeah,
there's that.
Yeah, working on our couth a little bit. So Rufus, you there?
I think he's
Yo.
I think he's throwing his mic up against the wall real quick.
Yeah, he's very angry.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, you feel me on that, Phantom, right? Like, we don't want to necessarily be, stunting everybody else's growth and shit like that, and don't get me wrong, bro. Like, thank you for those words of encouragement. And we have been talking about
we're
doing
gonna do
spaces in there.
spaces.
Yeah, we just don't want to make it like the thing. We'll make it a thing, but not the thing, because
Do it when you're ready. But I'm telling you, if you guys planned it out each time you did it, it could gain a lot of listeners. And I think that if you were to gain a lot of listeners doing that and make it consistent, think about like when you watched the X-Files when you were a kid. You would fucking be there every Friday night with your mom or whoever, and you'd fucking watch X-Files, the new episode. That's how this shit is gonna become, because people are gonna, even with like Flat Earth Friday, when Flat Earth Friday is about to come on, everything is like put on hold for me, because I want to be there to hear the discussion, maybe participate a little bit. So. And not only that, that's the greatest thing about it, that people can actually participate and talk to you and interact with you. People that are on the fence about Flat Earth or whatever the fuck they're talking about.
Right.
And that's going to be what I'm telling you, it's going to draw so many people, because people are so curious right now.
Maybe we could do something like, I'm not saying this yet, but like second Saturdays of the month or something, like to start off with. Because you can't pick a date because it always falls on a different day and it's weird. But like something like that, even something.
So we're not stepping on toes, and we get everybody to come in. Sacred, Proud, you, whoever, you know what I mean? Like these loud voices around there. Zetetic, Brock, if he'll ever say a word, like all these peeps, man, get everybody in, at least once a month, and come on and just, physically talk to the people that we're talking to via typing. But let's take it to that next step.
It's so much better, though. It really is so much better having a conversation person to person than through text. It's just sarcasm, especially for me, because I'm super sarcastic and I literally have to erase stuff all the time because I'm like, that's not going to translate. It's just not.
And it'll give a platform. Oh, to give
Go
a
ahead.
platform for our detractors or anyone's detractors to come on and, you know, voice their
Oh,
opinion too.
absolutely.
Because that matters too. That's a big
It
part of
does.
everything, man, you know, and
For like 5 minutes.
if you feel adamantly about something, we want to hear about it.
I feel like that's when you get the best space right there. Not when everyone is agreeing, but when you got someone disagreeing. Once you got like two
Yes.
people in the room disagreeing with like a couple other people, that's when you start to see a lot of people join and stay in the space and keep
Mhm.
listening because they don't want to hear people agreeing. They want to hear people not arguing, but they want to hear like a debate. And they want to hear a smart debate. They don't want to hear a stupid ass debate. People
Yeah.
like hearing smart people talk.
Well,
And that's what I've
that
noticed.
cuts
Like
us
you
out.
guys, and you guys could do it. No, you guys could do it.
I was like totally trying to hold that back. I'm like, like
You
there was
guys
this
could
one
do it.
time.
I'm telling you, the three of you guys with Def, y'all would kill it. I would listen to the whole space. For
All
sure.
right.
For sure.
It's
I mean,
coming
we ain't
then.
going
You
8
heard it.
hours like
You heard it.
Sacred
Phantom said,
and
"Do or die."
you do too, man. But you know,
Oh, it'll be
4 hours
happening.
is good.
It'll be happening.
That's coming.
So we are
Yeah,
at
there's
like
been times I fall asleep on the space and I wake up at like
I know
7
me
in the
too.
morning. My
They're still
AirPod
going.
is on the
Still
bed,
going.
and there's still people in the
They're still
space
talking
listening
about
to
the
me
same
sleeping
thing.
or something.
That's so good. So speaking of long time, we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it went by like nothing, man. It
I
went
know.
by.
It was
Hey,
awesome.
man, it's been a pleasure, Phantom, and I appreciate you providing a platform for people to come out and voice their opinions and
Yes,
try and
sir.
get to the bottom of everything.
We're all doing our
Yeah,
part.
man. I love having you guys come into my space. Whenever I see you there, I'm like, oh shit. That's when I'm like, I start standing at attention. I'm like, here we go, baby. Because I know who you guys are. I know that the discussion is going to be good, and I like what y'all are bringing to the table. With
Thank you,
y'all, every single tweet I see from you guys, I'm showing it to somebody. I'm like sharing it to my nephews, everything.
Nice.
That's the fuel. That's the ammo that I'm using when it comes to like showing people stuff. I'm showing them your stuff, Brock Riddick, the Flat Earther. There's a few accounts like you guys that you're just putting out straight fire every time. Boom, boom, boom. And you know, that's what you guys got to keep doing. I love it. Keep it up.
Thank
Awesome.
you. We
Thank
will.
you,
Thanks,
We
bro.
ain't gonna stop, and definitely keep up what you're doing too. Your space was
Yeah.
very enjoyable. I liked it, and I will definitely be back whenever I can, whenever I catch it. Always feel free to message it to me. I won't be there every time, obviously, but send it whenever you want, or if you're having something cool you think you're talking about or that I would like, please send it my way. I will definitely
Same.
jump in.
Yes, sir.
And at the very least, retweet it.
Yes.
Yes, even that. And so, is there
Yeah.
anything else you want to tell people before we end this?
Yeah, just keep doing your research and don't take anybody at their word. Like when all these people want to indoctrinate everybody to believe Earth is round, that the government's gonna help you and shit. Just do your research. There's so much layers to this. Earth is definitely flat. The government definitely don't want to help you, and everyone is being psyoped. Just be careful. Everyone should really protect themselves and do your research on everything. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing it, and try to find a group of people to talk to about all this shit.
Or start a
Don't
group.
don't get stuck in no
Mhm.
echo chambers.
Don't
Yes,
believe
sir.
everything you hear, but question everything.
Absolutely.
Amen.
So it was a good time, man. This is where we say death faded out.
All right,
Peace.
gentlemen. Phantom, pleasure. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
We'll have
Thank
you back
guys. It's been a
someday and
pleasure.
bring a co-host with you like you were gonna, and we'll do it up again.
Yeah, we'll plan something out. I can't wait to introduce you guys to my co-hosts. If they would have been here, they got a great perspective. The three of us together, we make up one personality.
Awesome, man.
Awesome. Well, next time
Mhm.
that's gonna happen then. Soon.
All right, man. Have a good one. Have a good night. Tell the
You
fam
too.
hello
Thanks,
and
guys.
good night.
All right, gentlemen.
Yep. Thanks, bros.
Later.
All right.
Night.
Hey.